You're listening to the very first episode of Just Be Kind, and I'm your host, Matthew Plotner. All right, welcome. So today's episode, I want to talk a little bit about the power of therapy and the miracles that it has brought to my life. I want to talk a little bit about the diagnosis that I have and why I want to bring this show to you guys, because there is a purpose behind Just Be Kind. So let's start with our therapy, my therapy, the power of therapy. Therapy is a powerful tool that I never knew about. Took me about a little over a year in therapy to even start to find that I had a diagnosis that I needed to find. I was in a dark depression, suicidal, losing, quite honestly, that battle with the darkness in my mind. It was taken over. It was only with the strength of my wife and my kids and everybody kind of giving me this back and forth of, you need to get help, dude. You're going in a dark place, where I found a very wise, very caring, very understanding, very helpful therapist that has been instrumental in the help that I have gotten to this point. Now, before we go too far down the path of the power of therapy, because that's not completely what I want to talk about in this opening show, what I want to talk about is what we're going to be uncovering and learning. I'm going to get a little bit personal with y'all. Forgive me. I don't know any other way to do this other than be personal. So I thought the best way to do that is to just share my diagnosis and what I have learned about it and why I feel like there is a need for this type of thing. Just a few months ago, I was diagnosed with something called schizoaffective disorder. Had only heard that word one time before in my entire life before that moment. So to say that I had no idea what she was talking about and was a little overwhelmed was to be, well, I was an understatement, to say the least. So what is schizoaffective disorder? It's kind of, think of it as a spectrum, okay? If you have schizophrenia on one end and bipolar disorder on the other end, schizoaffective disorder kind of sits perfectly in the middle of that spectrum. It's kind of the combination of the two. It's that Venn diagram, if you will, where those two meet, if you want to do it that way. Whatever visual works best for you. Think of it that way. It's kind of the two. And because it's the mixing of the two, it kind of has these two different types. Presenting types is what they call it. This is all stuff I'm just learning, so bear with me as I kind of share the knowledge I'm getting with y'all, right? But bipolar or schizoaffective disorder can either present as bipolar, which means you've got the swings of mania and depression, and that's what I had, and that's what I have. I get the fun little swing of overjoy on the fucking over the moon, and then the severe depression of my worst has been suicidal, but we'll get to that in later episodes. So, and then there's depressive type, which is just the depression. You don't get the highs, which that would suck, right? Like, not that mental illness is a good thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, but at least with mine, I'm getting the happies too. Could you imagine just getting the shit into the stick and just getting the depressive type? Ew. That would, anyway, not the point. They're all terrible. They're all bad. I'm not trying to upsell the value of mental illness here. But the positive note is this is a rare thing. So schizoaffective disorder so far from what I've been able to find is about 3.3 to 0.5% of people actually have it. So yay for me for being rare. I don't know. The bad thing is it's hard to diagnose because it mimics so many other mental health symptoms. And that's why it's taken me, unfortunately, till I'm 43 to figure out that I had this crap. 42 technically, but 42, 43. It's a long time to go not knowing you've got this fun little side dish of messing with your head crap. So that's what this podcast is going to be about, guys. That's what Just Be Kind is. My goal is to bring an understanding to, for me anyway, a diagnosis that has been unknown to this point. I didn't even know what it was. I had no idea the word was even a thing. No idea I had something called schizophrenia. It runs in my family, but I didn't know I had it for 43 years. And when we went through the diagnosis of it and kind of what it is and what it isn't, it made a lot of sense. It really did. It started clicking in my head, started taking the medications. And because of that, I've now clear-headed enough that I want to share these things that I'm learning with you guys, because I think there's more people out there than just the 0.3 to 0.5% that struggle with this. And I think we're too afraid to step out of our comfort zone and say, hey, my head, is this how everybody lives? Because I'll be honest, that's what I thought for 43 years, was everybody's brain is this crazy and broken. But it's not. Not that it's unhappy without the medication, but it's so much different when you get on medication and start feeling better. And I want to remove the stigma that comes along with admitting to having these mental health issues. There's nothing wrong with telling people that you struggle with this work, that letting work know, right? In a way that's healthy, right? You can't just walk into your boss's office and announce that, right? But in a way that is open and honest, that gives people a way to be understanding. And I think most people, given the chance, if we take away the misunderstandings, the myths behind all of these schizophrenia and bipolar, right? There's so much misunderstanding about it. I had no idea. Here's how much misunderstanding I had about it. I had no idea men could be diagnosed as schizophrenic. I didn't know. No idea. I did not know men. How crazy is that? 43 years of life. I thought till I was diagnosed that there's no way, because men don't get schizophrenia. That being said, men do. You can, and it's not rare. It happens more often than what we think. So that's what we're bringing to the show, guys. That's what this is. That's this first episode. Is I want to kind of open up the door to not being afraid to share our mental health, our struggles, our cries for help when we have them, guys. That being said, remember, just be kind to yourself and others. And thanks for listening, and I'll be back.